practice my reading, woman. I'm gonna come down from the mountain, gonna get me a library card. 'Cause I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. Lord knows that I am. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. I'm a mountain man. Lord knows I am. I'm gonna come.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday wrap-up Northern Footy Show. Before we get to our special guest, and we have two others joining us soon, but I want to take this opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to my mother and everyone else's mother out there. What a huge day, and we generally they don't get enough credit, do they, guys, for what they do, running kids to footy everywhere and getting them ready, and dads get all the credit. But so happy Mother's Day to everyone. And for those, a lot of people I've seen on Facebook today's mothers have passed over the years. A very happy Heavenly Mother's Day to you all, and our thoughts and prayers are with you all. Before we move to our guests, I just want to say sorry there was no show Thursday, guys. I had COVID. I was crook as a dog, and my voice sounded something of a robot, so you missed nothing by missing a show. But we'll get on to it now. Let's move forward. We've got a couple of guests in here. What a huge weekend of footy it was, and I just don't even know where to start because Lorimer got their winning ways on the go in a nail-biter. Hurstbridge made a premiership knock at the front door, and we've got JC, Hurstbridge coach. We'll speak to him in a second. St Mary's tamed the Lions, what was thought to be the unthinkable. They've really made a serious a point here by beating them by a point in a thriller, and Lower Plenty goes out and beats Thomastown. Talked about pre-season about being the guys who could get relegated, all of a sudden equally saying we want to be here at final. So gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the show. Jaden, you're going to be my co-host tonight. Matthew Bonadeo's celebrating Mother's Day, which is more than fair enough, so we've asked Jaden to come on, and we'll finish with Jaden at the end of the night on his 100th game he just played on the weekend. But JC, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Good on you, Daz. Great to join you guys.
I appreciate that. Now, JC, what a win on the weekend. You played against my Bulls the week before. I was there and I watched you. I deliberately didn't come over to speak to you after you beat us in a ripping game. But, you know, there was a lot of good things I seen from that game that must have carried over. Knocking off Montmorency is, you know, as close to the holy grail as you're going to get for confidence for the boys. Walk me through the win, mate.
Oh, look, I think it's a big milestone for the club, really, because it's actually our first win at Montmorency. We've actually never done that in the club's history. Wow. Yeah, so Baz Taylor Hopkins, our president, sort of alerted me to that after the game. So it was, obviously a lot of excitement in the rooms, a lot of energy, some very happy supporters, and I guess a big tick for our playing group. You know, given where we got to last year and where we want to progress to this year as a team, certainly you can feel the confidence within the group. Clearly Montmorency are a great club and a great team, and to go there and win this early in the season, hopefully is a good catalyst for us moving forward.
My spy there tells me, JC, that you guys controlled the game from the get-go. Do you feel it went that way?
Certainly from a kick mark perspective, I think around the clearances were really quite even, and we sort of expected that. Once again, like high numbers up around the clearance, so it became a bit of a slog at times, and could have been a bit of a transition game from stoppage just to make sure that, you know, we set up well behind the ball. But certainly we were able to control it through our kick mark game. We didn't quite execute going forward as well as we would have liked in the first half. We had a couple of crucial turnovers that led to Montmorency goals in that second quarter. But then after half-time, we sort of got our forward connection going a little bit better. Our midfield group lifted. which we were looking at because, a couple of weeks ago we lowered our colours pretty significantly in the last quarter against Banyule, and so we wanted to get that one back. So to have that connection between the lines, the backs were really strong all day. The middies lifted in that last half, and the forwards finished the work in the second half, which was really good for us.
Yep. Jaden, you feel free to jump in whenever you want, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously having blokes like Clyde Class back into the side yesterday, it's pretty big from VFL. How did he go yesterday? Yeah,
it was actually his first game for the club, so we've been waiting for him to play for about 3 years. Obviously, Werribee keep a fairly tight leash on him, and fair enough because he's such a great player at VFL level. To have him out there with his really good mates, Bailey Jordan, Chris McCabe, it took him a little bit to adjust to it, I would say. Obviously, our grounds are a little bit tighter, and the method that teams use is slightly different. But, we put him into the midfield in the second half, and he was just great. We've got a really young group in there, and he just communicated really well. He can identify what's going on inside the contest and what we need to do to rectify that, and then to communicate. Hit the scoreboard a couple of times, and he's a great presence as well, and gives you a lot of confidence when he's in the side. So yeah, it was brilliant to have him out there, mate.
Jaden, if you ask too many good questions, you will not be back on this show, okay? Don't outdo me so early in this interview. Bailey Lawrenson says, go the Bridges. You've become somewhat of a movie star this week, though, Joel. I've seen your online productions. I shared it across the Footy show. I got to tell you, a lot of clubs would be scarce about sharing that much information, and good on you for doing what you did and the company that put it together, because, sometimes we forget that it's local football and there's very simple messages that get out there. I thought it is just... As far as Hurstbridge, that's a leading opportunity there. I thought that was amazing.
Well, I think it's about who we can engage, certainly from a community perspective. I think Baz was talking about the other day, when he first took over the social media page, I think we had 150 people like the page. Now we're up to over around 3,000, I think. Yep. So he's been able to grow it. And it's obviously the sponsors are seeing it, the community's seeing it. We're getting really good crowds at our games, and just to give a little bit of insight. We obviously didn't show everything, kept a little bit in the bag there, but to relay some of our messages and connect with our supporters and the wider audience, I think that's a really important thing. They can see, hopefully, what we're trying to build, and as a club, I think it's maybe a new direction that clubs are looking to do. You can see it at the AFL level, the way that they engage, and there's no reason why local footy can't do that in such a competitive market. If you look at all the clubs in the area, we're all fighting for it. It's a ruthless business, so we're just looking for different ways to show edge and to make sure that we stand out and be the best that we can be.
Ben Keen's just put up the people were talking about it at East Keilor and Deer Park, and from Baz's perspective, what a great initiative. He's a ripping guy, Baz. I love him. He's just a guy you can't help but love. But, I think Hurstbridge are taking this to the next level. And as I say, you're leading the way, because putting yourself out there is how you attract sponsors, how you attract members, and how you make it a destination club more this year than ever. JC, I've heard about Hurstbridge being a destination club, which is a credit to you and everything you're doing. One question before I let you go, because I know you've got to go, and we're going to bring Jimmy in as well, is tell me, what's the goal? Where do you want to finish? Is your plan to finish top two? Because it's a realistic goal, JC, to be honest. I know you're a modest fella, not something me and Matty Bonadeo often, suffer from, but what's the goal?
Oh, look, at the end of the day, we want to go as high as we can. So it's, and it has been since day one, to be the best that we can be, and whichever way that presents at the end of the year. And it's stuff that we just got to work on our game. So, God, I don't want to sound like it's a cliche, but, you put no ceiling on it. So we're striving to get the best outcome that we can. Obviously, we've got to stay healthy. Obviously, we have to keep improving in our own game as well, because we've been getting over the line in most games, but at times there's things that we need to work on as well. So yeah, absolutely no ceiling. Certainly we haven't said internally that it's got to be a flag or playing a grand final or even finals. It is actually just about process and improving. And if we do that, we feel like we're in good shape to I guess compete against the best teams in the division.
Yeah, well, from our perspective, mate, congratulations on a huge win yesterday. That shows you're a fair income contender. You'll be part of my polls I put up tomorrow, so I'm sure you'll see a bit of information there. We're going to let you go. We know you got a Mother's Day. We've got a ton of guests coming on. Jimmy sitting in the green room. Chris Dorr. You're never gonna guess Chris's nickname. What do you reckon Chris's nickname is?
Dorsey.
Trap Door. I love it. I love it. All right, JC, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on Mother's Day, and enjoy the rest of your day, mate.
Appreciate it, mate. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
See you, boys. Ciao.
That was a good first question, Jaden. You've done a good job. We're going to bring Jimmy in here as well at the same time. Before we cross over to you, Jimmy, we're going to get on with Chris, but we'll bring you in. So we've always got 4 on. Do you know these boys well, Jimmy? Do you know young Jaden, who's?
Yeah, I know young Jaden, and met Chris earlier in the year. So
he's well. Did you know his nickname was Trap, as in Trapdoor? I love it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Blown away by it. Now, Chris will still. I'm going to go with Chris until I meet you. It's got to be Chris, mate. What a huge win for Lower Plenty yesterday. Like we had Jimmy on. He had a huge win yesterday. You guys are winning them by the hair of your chinny chin chins, but 4 points are worth so much right now. And look, I'll be the guy that says it is. We're probably tipped to be, in relegation zone now. All of a sudden, Lower Plenty's thinking about finals. So congratulations on the win yesterday, and thank you for coming on, mate. You must have had, between you and Jimmy Atkins, you guys must have had a cardiac arrest issues late last night.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for having me, boys. We really appreciate it. I reckon Jimmy's pretty good mates with the coach, Travis Stevens, so I reckon they might have had a chat about it. And it was 4 quarters, and probably could have gone either way at some sort of stages. But credit to our young fellas, they just sort of stuck at it. They got some pretty big names in that side, and they played accordingly. Capici and Janev and Kyle Green and these blokes, and they're just names that everyone knows. You just know they're going to keep coming, and young blokes were super, I thought, and obviously our leaders in Paddy and Jordan Sacco, the captain, and Joel Leslie, and that sort of stood up when things were needed, and to get over the line over at Thomastown at any stage is a great win. But when you're trying to build something from the ground up, and we know where we're at and where we're striving to get to, and it was just a super day for the club in general.
Yeah, I've got one, Chris. Obviously, after last year, with the relegation battle with Epping, what's been the change over the off-season? Obviously, 3 wins this year has been pretty big to start. What's been the change?
Obviously, first year for me and Trav. We both were assistant coaches at Mont last year, and obviously JC, who you had on for a second ago, gave us a bit of a schooling one day down at Hurstbridge. So, he's going to be a superstar, Joel. But, obviously the boys have had to learn a complete new game plan. We haven't had a lot of big-name recruits. I think Dave Foligno came across to me yesterday after the game, the coach of Thomastown. I think they beat us by 100 last year, and it was a pretty similar outfit, similar kids. I suppose they've got another year under their belt, which makes them not 17 now. It makes them 18 and 19, and I think there's sort of 9 under 19s average every week running out with us in the seniors. So they've been fantastic watching the learning off vision, learning different sort of tactics that they wouldn't never seen before. I suppose the listening and learning thing, they've been so good at just taking the next step each week. So really proud of what they did yesterday.
I think at the moment, Chris, is the competitions are so even. There's probably 3 sides across the competition, Division 1, 2, 3, that I believe can't play finals. But that's it. I actually think everybody else could make finals. You get a run on. I know that, you guys have played some hard sides early, like same as Jimmy as well. You have come up against the best. And believe it or not, my opinion is I think that's the best thing that could happen to you. You see all the competition, bit of love there from Dicko Trap. You come across the best sides early, and then you know where you're at. You played Whittlesea last week. You were in it for most of the game. And then you come up against Thomastown, where you're expected, to be honest, I think I tipped you to lose by 35 points. So what would I know? Just a shit old footballer. But I can't pick one this year. It's harder to pick than Bonners' nose. It's just impossible. It's getting tougher and tougher, and anyone can win it any day. Tell me what changes in the rooms after a victory like that, Chris?
Yeah, I suppose for the first part of the question, if we don't play 4 quarters of footy, it doesn't matter who we play against, we'll get rolled this year.
Yep.
So I think that playing 4 quarters, the top 3, 4 sides are pretty solid. We got blown off the park by South Morang, and I was super impressed by them in the first round. But I think our guys actually learnt a fair amount off that, and if your pressure's half off, I mean, our game with Jim could have gone either way. But I think there was 170 tackles in that game. If your pressure is off by 5%, you don't get beat, you get belted. And we're just trying to get the boys to stay in games for longer. Put pressure on ball carrier at all times, and hopefully you can get in a position where with 10 minutes to go, you're still in the game, you can win the game.
And there's so much going on there at the moment. You had the big Pat Cronin Foundation last week. You've got such a huge amount of youth at the club. I think yous are in really good hands, Chris. I think that from a club, it's very, very well run. And staying up last year, it was the death knock, as Jaden said. What an important one to stay up, because now all of a sudden you'd have to have belief that finals is an option.
Yeah, I've obviously been involved at Eltham for a lot of years, and always found that committee and supporters and sponsors were the lifeblood of the place. And we've got a fantastic committee at Lower Plenty. They've been super helpful right through for myself and Trav Stevens and for the other coaching group. And it's what do you need, when do you need it, can we do anything better, and for us it's can we do anything for the club that we need off field, that we know on field. And it's one of those things where you just got to tick them off. And if we can keep being competitive with the sides around us, like the Thomas-Towns, and we haven't come up against What's On Air and Bent Hill and these guys, so we don't know a lot about it. At the moment, the boys like travelling away because we haven't been beaten away and we haven't won a game at home. So
it's a cruel game, mate. It's a cruel game.
Yeah, it is. And so for our guys, it's you just got to keep stepping up every week. And if you're half off, you get rolled. So we're just trying to do all we can to be in the best position we can every week.
Well, from our perspective, Chris, thanks for freeing yourself up on a Sunday afternoon, coming on, having a chat to us. It's great to get Lower Plenty on. They're one of the clubs we haven't managed to have on yet, but it's great to have you on. And by the way, you're playing, I'm pretty certain we're going to have you on a few more times before the end of the year and finals come on. So great job. Keep up the good work. You're more than welcome to stay on while we speak to Jimmy, but I understand it's Mother's Day and everyone's got to run around like a madman. So
I'm doing the same, boys. But thank you very much for having us, and really appreciate your time. Cheers, Jim. Thanks, Jaden.
Good on you, mate. See you later, Chris. Jimmy, you're the wonder boy, mate. You're the wonder boy. I got asked the other day, who do you actually barrack for, Daz? And I said, well, I barrack for Carlton, as you well know. I said, but they said, no, in local footy. I says, well, my bloke plays at Bundy, so I support Bundy. I says, but I coach Jimmy Atkins, and he now coaches at Lorimer, so I got a bit of a soft spot for that. So I played at North Heidelberg, so I got a bit of a soft spot. They said, well, you can only have one side, so I just can't. I've actually become this guy that's fallen in love with everyone and following everyone. But mate, let me tell you, I promise you, I was picking up my wife from the airport when your final siren went. I was following it. I was on the phone to somebody at your ground, and I was absolutely chuffed for you because you've had a real hard start to the season, a big welcome to Division 2, but congratulations on a win. How was it? Walk me through the final minute, Jimmy.
Oh, it was a relief in the end, to be honest. I think we were 40 points up at the start of the last quarter. So, and look, not to Northcote's credit, they played some fantastic footy in the last quarter, and we tried everything to stop it, but we couldn't. But probably our last 2 or 3 minutes of the quarter, we held on really well. Some massive contests for us in our forward half to hold it in there, and it was a great win, and it was good to get one away.
4 points is
Obviously,
4 points.
Obviously, speaking to you earlier in the year, Jimmy, you were saying how obviously finals is the goal. After getting the first one off the back, is that still the goal, or what are we thinking? Is it relegation or is it finals now?
I think you've got to sort of assess once you've got through playing everyone, I suppose. Yeah, I think we mentioned that we've played pretty much everyone in the top half, the ladder in the top 5, other than St. Mary's, I think. So we don't really know yet. Like, we probably definitely expected to probably want to start a bit better than what we have, but we got a bit of a reality check, to be honest. But it's look, we've shown some really good signs, and I've got no doubt that we'll get better each week, get the first win, and hopefully the confidence in the young group. Hopefully we can just keep taking little steps forward.
Yeah, there's a couple of obviously big games coming up with Watsonia and Penhill as well. So, they'll be big moving forward for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Chris just said it perfect, to be honest. If you don't play 4 quarters, you don't beat anyone. So it's a pretty even comp. Obviously, the teams at the top are doing pretty well, and we've found that pretty hard with South Rang, Diamond Creek, and Whittlesea. But look, we've got a big couple of weeks coming up, and just to get that first win, hopefully, like I said, the confidence in the group, and we can keep going forward.
I tipped you last pre-season, Jimmy. I tipped you as to finish 5th, and for the last week, I've been copping a bit of flack over that. My little love affair with Jimmy Atkins has skewed my judgment, but I feel like you're a chance. 28 points up at 3/4 time. You must have thought, we're in good shape here. You never think we're home anymore because 28 points just isn't enough to win a game of footy anymore. Walk me through what happened. Did they just get a roll on Northcote Park? It just seemed they kicked goal after goal for, a little bit. What happened? Tell me.
Well, I mean, the week before they kicked 7 in the last quarter against Watsonia.
They did.
Nearly knocked them off. And, we knew that. We sort of spoke about that before the game, and look, maybe I could put my hand up and say maybe I focused a little bit too much on that. And, look, they made some really good moves. They had some pretty tall backs that they threw forward, and, that really stretched us a little bit. But ultimately, they just won every centre clearance, and we couldn't get our hands on it. And, Northcote's ground, it's immaculate, beautiful ground. I love the place. But obviously the middle of the ground's pretty muddy and sloppy, and they just had some balls in there that were, playing wet weather footy in there and then dry weather footy as soon as it came out, kicked some deep entries, and we just couldn't stop it. I think we had 9 people in the back line at one stage, and it was still going over their heads. So look, once you get a roll on, it's pretty powerful in a game of footy, isn't it?
Must have been close. Jade, you yourself were in a tight game yesterday. It's got to be, it's been so long since I've played footy, but, I'm listening to a lot of these games. I'm following it online all day. And, the competition is so tight that 28 points realistically isn't a good enough lead anymore at 3/4 time, is it, boys?
Yeah, well, we were 6 goals up as well, so similar situation to them, to Lorimer. So, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I think just the way teams are playing now as well, it's a little bit more daring football, so it can be pretty powerful sometimes. And just put everything out the window and just go forward and go for it. It's hard to stop sometimes.
I haven't watched your game back yet, Jimmy. It's generally my Monday night thing to watch your game back. But what were the improvements from the games prior that came together this week?
I think sticking to our structures and the way we want to move the ball. I think early in the year with the top sides, obviously not getting your hand on the ball, you start to make some silly mistakes and some structural mistakes as well. But we really pride ourselves on being predictable to each other, and I think we'd probably easily say that we weren't that early in the year. We had a few key position players go down as well, so we had to change a few things, but getting them back in the last couple of weeks has helped that. But I just think everyone basically getting back on the same page and, like I said, being predictable to each other, way we move the ball, it's played really well in the last 2 weeks.
Such a big step up from Division 3 to Division 2. I do think that takes some adjustment, especially if you cop the best 4 sides first up. I think it really can kick the confidence out of you in the rooms afterwards. The first thing I thought about after the game is I wonder how your dad's doing. Your dad would have been having an aneurysm. Was he at the game or was he home up in the bush?
Dad's actually, Mum and Dad are over in England at the moment, so
right.
I'm not sure what the time would have been, but yeah, I definitely got a message from the old man straight away. He'd be pretty happy. So
yeah, that's just a huge win.
Yeah, and the rooms obviously it was, like I said, it was a bit strange. Everyone was relieved, but it was great to get the win, and 3 wins for the club as well, 19s and reserves one as well. So first time in our history that's happened in Division 2, which is great. So hopefully we keep moving forward with it.
Hopefully you ran out of beer at about 11 o'clock at night. That would have been the go. Now someone's concerned about. Was there a function? Was there last night?
Yeah, so I haven't had any phone calls, so that's usually a good thing.
Someone's a bit concerned about
down there.
Someone's concerned about your safety here, Jaden. Jordan's blink if you're unsafe. What is it you think we're doing here? Jimmy, I know you got to go. Thank you so much for tuning in with. Congratulations on a great win. I'm going to rip Jaden apart now here after his 100th game he played on the weekend. So that's huge. But thanks for coming on. I'm pretty certain we're going to be speaking a lot more, but I can't give you too much love. I'm getting too much criticism. But, Jimmy, we'll get there. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jaden. Good on you, mate.
Now, Jaden, let's hook into you, big fella. 100 games on the weekend. Is that 100 games at Epping or 100 games in total? The love's coming through for you. Here come all your questions like the boys are going to give you a bit of stick here, I think.
Yeah, I think they are. So that's 100 senior games for Epping.
Yep.
And then obviously last year the Turtles, they didn't count for yesterday.
Okay. Yep. Great. That's pretty good. Well, overall though, Epping's in good shape. It was a big win yesterday. You needed to get that other win, from the week before. So you're cementing yourself as a finals contender. My mail is that you haven't hit anywhere near your straps yet. What would you say to that? Like, you've got a lot more potential, still getting used to each other. What's your commentary to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously we've got a lot of new players, old faces, new faces coming together. So we do have to gel. And we have a pretty big injury list at the moment. So we had plenty of young kids play yesterday. I think we had 3 or 4 17-year-olds. So, they're just getting used to senior footy as well. And obviously missing Juddy's pretty big as also.
Yeah,
so,
huge.
But I think we're just in our straps and we've got a pretty big month coming up with the Stars, Ivanhoe and OP. So
that's 2 big games because Ivanhoe, other than they went down yesterday, they've been playing some pretty good footy. Schultz is a super coach down there as well. And OPs, you should have played them the week, or the Gilmores are away getting married. That probably would have been a better option because they've come back pretty strong yesterday. While we're talking about this, I'm going to bring Tane Cotter in. G'day, Tane. How you doing?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, mate. We're just going to finish off with Jaden, and we're going to come into you. But I wanted to bring you in because it's quite relevant. We're talking about how close all the leagues and everything are at the moment. But Jaden, like when we talk about how close Division 3 is, it's the strongest Division 3 I think there's ever been in the league. And Division 2 is not far off it. It's super strong as well. But I still think in Divi 3, like anyone can still make these finals things. You would say, you know, with no disrespect to Reservoir and Layla, it's going to be a harder slog, but Layla were in it and up to halftime yesterday as well.
Yeah, honestly, after round one, Layla like really impressed. They've got some really good players, and they've improved massively, obviously, from the last couple of years. So, I reckon they'll get a few more wins this year. So wouldn't write them off too far. But obviously, being top 5, it does help. Obviously those sides with the close ladder and stuff like that. So it will be a tight one.
Pre-season, we did top 10 rankings. Now, you didn't seem to make it into the top 10, did you? But the other gentleman on the thing, he ranked number 1 for Division 2, Tane Cotter. Now, we've got Jaden to 6:15, so I'm going to quickly divert over to you, Tane. What a huge win yesterday against South Morang, who most thought might go undefeated for the season. It would come down to a real big slog out with them in Diamond Creek, but you guys have certainly made a statement yesterday. How was it, mate?
Yeah, no, it was elite. It was probably one of the best wins I've been a part of at the senior club for sure. Sort of had our backs against the wall there for a lot of the period, and just the way that the boys just put their whole effort in for the whole 4 quarters and finished off was just it was unreal. And then then it was just can't explain it really.
What's the goal this year for you guys? Obviously, making the prelim last year was pretty big win over Southie on the weekend. I had them as one of the contenders. What's the goal this year? What do you think for you guys?
As you said, we made the prelim last year, so essentially want to go, one better than that, make a granny. So I think we've got the squad to do it. We've added a few guys in, and we've got a few junior boys from the 19s who have been playing, and they're really showing their stuff. So I think internally we want to go one better than last year.
How's your season started, Tane? All my feedback is you're like a magnet with the ball. You've got some magical magnet that keeps putting this ball in your hand. How are you travelling?
I'm feeling good. I'm getting better every week. So I'm coming back from a bit of an injury that I had in the prelim. So just get a bit more continuity into my body and game, which is good. So as I said, just each week by week, training by training, feel like I'm getting better. The body's getting stronger, just keep on improving really. Hopefully.
How were the coaches yesterday after the game? Was Phil a little bit excited?
Yeah, no. Phil was on one. He was good. It's Fab was on one as well. So No, we're all even Trev Little, our runner. He loves it. So everyone was up and about in the rooms, the whole supporters. So it was great scenes back in the rooms there, and to do it at Southie as well, which just makes it better.
Unbelievable. It's such a big win. Jaden, you would know how important these games are, getting these 4 points up against a side like that. It gives a different sense of belief for you guys, Tane, that, going into the Diamond Creek game, you'll definitely go in with the mentality, we can do this.
Yeah, 100%. Dymo gave us a bit of a touch-up probably, 2 weeks ago now. So, we're with them probably for the first half. If we took a few chances in the first half, then second half they just they were too good, too classy, and we weren't good enough. So look, I think everyone's chasing them. So we just need to if we verse them again, hopefully we're better than what we were 2 weeks ago, and we can put in an improved showing.
Yeah, no, that's great. Nothing, Jades. I'm waiting for you, mate.
All good. You keep going, mate.
So, Tane, I spoke to Fab early on message, and he's going to come on in a couple of weeks. What do you think has changed between the Diamond Creek game and the South Morang game? For me, that's just a significant turnaround. Did you just have an off day against Diamond Creek? Were they just that much better? What's changed between in 2 weeks?
I think look, our second half was pretty poor against Dymo. In our first half, I think if we kicked 2 goals that we probably should have kicked, we were within a goal at half time. And then I think going in, we've been playing pretty good footy before that. We probably should have beaten Whittlesea when we versed them early. I think we kicked 625 or something like that. So,
Jesus.
if you swap that around, and it's a pretty good showing. But so that's it. We're playing good footy. It was just that second half last week against that Dymo, and we knew coming against Southie that they've been flying. So, but we had the internal belief because we knew we beat them last year twice, one at our ground and then in the finals, which was a really good game. So we knew we had the confidence coming in because of the history that we had. But no, we were just, it wasn't too much different. I think we were just a bit more cleaner, probably a bit more ruthless. So yeah.
Jades, do you find that there's certain clubs over your career that you just have the edge on? Like Carlton can play Collingwood, doesn't matter whether it's first or last on the ladder. Anzac Day is another one, Collingwood, Essendon. Who's your side, Jaden? Who's your bogey side? If you come against them, doesn't matter where you are on the ladder, you think you're a chance.
Honestly, it would have been St. Mary's. We had plenty of battles back in Div 3, probably a decade ago. And then we had some decent games when we were towards the bottom of the ladder and they were coming up to Div 2. Otherwise, probably South Morang as well. We always have a good showing against them. So, hopefully we can get back up to Div 2 and have these battles and go from there.
Is that yours, Tane? Is South Morang the biggest bogey side? Is that your biggest rivalry game, do you think?
No, I wouldn't say that. I reckon maybe Tomo. I don't think they really like us, to be fair. So I think probably Tomo or Watsonia. They're just the crosstown rival in our div. So probably those two, I think.
My last question for you, Tane, is who's risen this year? Who's come through your 19s, or who was a fringe player last year that's now established themselves at St. Mary's this year and said, "Nah, I'm not dropping my spot this year. I'm getting on with this."
Yeah, I think there's a guy from the 19s who's just come up the last few games. His name's Nick Brennan. He's going to be a superstar. So he's got real good pace, athletic, and he's got really good skills. So, and he's only 18, so he's just going to get better and better. And he's already good size. He's injured right now, but I think Lachlan Reid, he's one he's going to go. He was really expected for us here to go up to that next level, and he's one of the best pre-season trainers that we've got at the club. And then I think that we've got another one. I think Jake Hayward probably goes unnoticed a bit, but I think he's a really good senior footballer. He did a role for us yesterday to a tee to stop one of their best players. So he got all the accolades for that, and deservingly so. So I think those three especially are coming in, and I think they're going to be in our team for a long time.
I think you're on the way up. There's no doubt about that. I think St. Mary's are, destined. I have a conversation with the group each week and we talk about sides that are going to be in Division 1 in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, where the changes will be in St. Mary's is in every single one of those conversations, and rightly so. I think he's on the right path, and congratulations on a huge win yesterday. Taming the Lions is a big one, and it'll be a good one to have in the mental bank come finals as well. So good luck for the rest of the season. You're doing me very proud. I selected you number 1 for Division 2. So you've done well, and you're keeping me looking pretty good. I selected Majak Dor at number 5, and he nicked off, so I probably didn't go that well there. Probably time to replace him. And I didn't put Jaden in because he generally abuses me as a cricket umpire. So, but maybe in the future we can sort that out a bit. So thanks for coming on, Tane. I know that you've had a huge run around today to try and get on the show, and you got there, and I just am really, really grateful, mate, and I can't wait to get down and watch you shortly.
All good, lads. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
No worries, buddy. Keep well.
Cheers.
All right, Jade's back to you and me, mate. Sorry, I know Tane had a short time that he could slot us in, and I know I've got you for another 10 minutes, and we're going to go through some games and everything. Where are you at in your career? So how old are you now, Jades?
27 now.
right? So you're probably hitting your straps. You're in the prime of your career now. Your body might not feel that after each game, but, you're an important part of this side of getting these guys back into Divi 2. That surely is the goal still this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's the goal. I think that's why a lot of the blokes come back, including myself, was to, try and build Epping back up to be a strong Division 2 side. And, 10 years ago we were in Div 1. So it's trying to get that back to Division 2 and, winning that premiership. A lot of us have played together for a long time now. So being successful together is kind of what we want.
Is it well known that you're a bloody good cricketer, or is it just something that I enjoy giving you out LBW for when I get? I'm not umpiring next year. You've got away with it, mate. You have to find someone else.
Well, you can't be giving away too many secrets, mate, because if I keep getting hit in the pads, I'm going to be out. But look, I like to tell people I'm pretty good, but yeah, a bit of a B grade bully, I think. We'll see how we go next year.
No, mate, you can do well. All right, so what we're going to do here, Jade, you're going to help me. We're going to run through the games of the weekend. You've stepped in for Bonners, and let me tell you, you've done a heaps better job and you've asked much better question than Bonners. So if you're watching this on replay, Bonners, I'd be real nervous about your position, pal. All right, Div 3 results. Epping beat Kilmore by 9 points. That is a huge victory for you guys and a very important 4 points because Kilmore have the ability to destroy a couple of people as well. They're not a crap side. They're a good side.
They were super impressive. They were super impressive, especially, I think, on their ground. They set up really well and moved the ball well. So, yeah, they'll win some games this year that some would think they wouldn't. So, yeah, they're a dangerous side.
I think Paul Derrick would still be thinking they're a finals chance, and that probably hurts a little bit yesterday, but he's running a very good ship there and going to try and get him back. Old Eltham, I want your opinion on this. Old Eltham beat Ivanhoe by 32. Ivanhoe the week before beat Mernda in a thriller. I can't help but say that I think Old Eltham deserves premiership favouritism in line with Mernda. They're undefeated. They just keep winning. Old Eltham's the real deal.
Yeah, obviously, they're a good side. They had a pretty good off-season. And last year, that obviously making the prelim was a good season for them, or us, however you say it like that. Mernda, they looked really good against us. It's completely different sides. They're probably fair enough to be the premiership favourites. But yeah, I'll probably have Old Eltham ahead of Mernda at the moment.
I think Reservoir was leading Heidelberg West for a huge component of the game that I watched it, and Heidelberg West obviously turned it on towards the end and managed to just run away a bit by 24 points. Good win for Heidelberg West as they try to get their season back online. Should have had my phone on silent there. Apologies for that. And then Old Paradians come out at quarter time. I think they're down by 20-something points or to Laylaw, and then they've turned that around and got up by 49 points.
Yeah, so that's a big turnaround. Yeah, as I said, Laylaw was super impressive in round one. And then obviously with Ivanhoe, they're going to be Old Paradians and Ivanhoe. I think they're going to be very unknown, a little bit up and down. So they can beat anyone on the day, but as you said, they could have different results. So
they're finding their feet, both of them, but both are very dangerous. I think they can beat anyone. If either of those sides can make it to finals, I'd be pretty nervous. Mernda do it as they would have expected to against King Lake, 49 points. Sam Rexepi kicks another 5 for Laylaw. The impressive bit is he kicked 5 of their 8 goals. The guy's a man mountain. He's got amazing hands, and that's a huge win.
Yeah, massive win. And he's a very handy player as well. I've seen him
a star.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into Divi 2. Lower plenty as we spoke to Trapdoor before. Chris Trapdoor, I love that. They get it done to Thomastown by 2 points, huge win. And then St Mary come out, as we spoke about, knock off the Lions by a point. Lorimer defeat Northcote Park by 5 points. No need to go over those. We've interviewed the guys, but Whittlesea say to Panton Hill, he's a 42-point touch-up. And for Panton Hill, they seem to be a bit up and down, but Whittlesea's a strong unit.
Yeah, they are pretty strong. I have them third, but obviously with South Range dropping yesterday, I had them in second. So yeah, Whittlesea will be up there. Bit of a real contender this year. Panton Hill, as you said, up and down. Yeah, will be interesting for them.
Riley Power kicks 5 goals for Whittlesea. That helps. That's just a massive. We read out all the 5 goal plus hauls. And Diamond Creek defeat Watsonia by 42 points. I'd probably take from that Watsonia gave them a fair fight. I mean, Watsonia is rebuilding, and I would have expected more. I did see that there was a virtually no score going on early in the piece from Watsonia, but they obviously got it together. Then they put on a little bit of fight, but 42 points is respectable, I think, against Diamond Creek. Yeah, definitely a premiership
After seeing some of the results with some of the big wins that they've had over other sides, you'd definitely probably take that.
Let me just quickly go to comments. There's a bit of love for you. Oh my God, Jaden, stop it. Heidi Wilson, do I need to know anything about this?
Nah, she's a former Epping parent fan, I guess. So I'll take it. Hello, Heidi.
Mate, take the creds. Rob Fletcher says moves like a 45-year-old. I'm not sure who he's referring to, if that's Rex Heppy or he's having a crack at me. I'm not sure. Fletch, tell us.
Well, there's a big chance he's having a crack at me there, I reckon. But
I'll try to be nice.
My best game is definitely against him, so I'm happy with that.
That's right. He's a ripping guy, Fletch, but I don't reckon you'd want to be on the wrong side of one of his sprays. He'd scare the bejesus out of me.
He coached me in cricket in under 16, so yeah, I reckon I've been on the wrong end.
Is he a good cricketer? Was he a good cricketer?
He was. Obviously well past it now, and I think he knows that. That's why he doesn't come around the club.
Fight your bastards. All right, let's jump into Division 1. Hurstbridge get over Montmorency. I know we had GC on, but that is just a serious victory, Jaden.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked that one. But obviously, as a punter, I couldn't pick me nose. But yeah, look, it's a massive win.
Yeah, that's just a huge statement, I think, from there. But Banyule keep their winning ways going. They defeat Greensborough by 10 points in a blinder from all reports. Banyule are making just massive statements. They are, I think Bonners has them finishing second on the ladder at the moment. And we'll have Bonners back on in the studio on Wednesday night. And he's going to give us a bit of a wrap-up of where he thinks everyone is again. But that's a huge win.
Yeah, Preston, other than Heidelberg, really, it's anyone's going to finish second. Like it's an open comp.
And everyone's beatable on the day. We know that. I think the Montmorency Heidelberg one was a bit of a nail-biter as well. So, you know, it could be pretty close. West Preston get the job done over Eltham by 62. I probably expected a fraction more out of Eltham there. I reckon that Bongo might be a little bit disappointed with that sort of a margin because I thought that would be a much closer game. But credit to Ian Aiken and his boys down there, West Preston Lakeside. That's a huge win as they try to get their season, on track as well.
On track, yeah.
So that's a good one. Heidelberg beat Bundoora by 48. Now, we have a bit of a rule on this show. I don't typically commentate on Bundoora.
I was waiting for that one. Looking at the scoring shots, 27 scoring shots to 9. They're probably lucky they kick straight as well, to be honest. It could have been a bigger margin.
Yeah, they're full of injuries at the moment. They get 3 or 4 back this week, Bundy, and I think they're not far from a win. I generally tip them for a draw or a 1-point win every week. We better keep going on with that. But they'll get there, I wasn't there yesterday. Brandon, my son, has also been tied up with COVID. Something shocking. We got smashed in this house with it, but they're gonna be back shortly. I'm really, really believing they're going to come back with a bit of a vengeance under Heath. North Heidelberg beat McLeod by 10 points. That's an important win for North Heidelberg.
Yeah, I think their season will start to turn around now as well. As I said, plenty of scoring shots is probably the difference there. 13-22. I reckon they'll really start to find some form.
West Preston have 2 5-goal kickers in Dante Colosimo and Kobe Brown, both kicking 5 for West Preston, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I know we're going to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. I'm going to fly through the last lot. We've got we headed down to Thomastown on last Thursday night on the Take on Elmsey Challenge. I don't know if you know Elmsey well, but he was absolutely woeful. He got punished by these girls. And we are going to get the videos up fresh for tomorrow night's women's footy show. But he was disgraceful, Jaden. I can't think of a better word to put it. He had to plait hair.
The girls put it up to him. There you go.
Mate, he got beaten in the goal kicking. He got beaten in the plaiting. He got beaten in the squats. For a guy that
sounds like a tough night.
No, he's done. He's absolutely cooked. We had 2 winners. For those that don't go in our tipping competition every week, and I don't know who doesn't, we had 100 entries for the tipping competition on the weekend where you got to tip the winner and the margin. We had 2 winners. So 2 guys, Mitch Reynolds and Wade Lowry, both tipped Hurstbridge to win by 17 points. Now, we have a $50 prize per week. So there's a few questions in there this morning. Say, what happens here, Daz? What's the go? Now, our good friend Pete Westbury at Westbury Property Services, he sponsors this for $50 a week. We can't have our punters not getting paid out. We're not sports bet. So I called on another good mate of mine, Waytech. You probably know Wayne Cassar from Waytech Rendering. I reached out to him this morning and said, mate, what do you reckon? He said, Daz, I'm in. I will cover every second weekend when this happens. So Waytech's put up the other $50. So both the boys will win $50 for tipping their tip correct. Congratulations, boys. That is outstanding. I know you've got to go. Tomorrow night is our first women's show. We had to cancel last week's one because I was crook and couldn't help the girls host it. But now Olivia Antonello has COVID, so she's out. But I'm going to host it with Kira tomorrow night, and it's going to be a huge show. We've got a couple of guests. Wednesday night back in the studio with me and Maddie, and we have Maddie Hyde from Greensboro Coach coming into the studio to talk everything footy. Let's end it on this one, Jaden. You have by far been the best co-host I've had on here. Matthew Bonadeo is in the world of trouble, buddy.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure.
I want you to give Bonners some words of wisdom to close the show. Where does he need to improve, Jaden?
Look, mate, just don't try too hard, and I reckon it'll all come together.
On that note, we're going to head off, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to finish with a commercial from one of our great sponsors at Sanitaire. We'll see you all on Wednesday night. Thanks again, Jaden.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
What's wrong with your aircon?
Sanitaire professionally clean our air conditioners every year.
My family's always sick. Maybe it's our aircon.
I cannot believe the gunk that comes out. Sanitaire is an amazing service.
Remove harmful mold, bacteria and odours. Starting from $69, your aircon will be healthier and run more efficiently.
My husband is so happy. Even our power bills are lower.
Sanitaire's award-winning premium service comes with a 12-month nationwide mold-free guarantee. Sanitaire, it's like a flu shot for your aircon. Call now, 1-800-130-160.